Soulcalibur 6 is my entrance to the series. I never played a Soulcalibur game growing up, and I went into this game expecting to respect the game, but not necessarily enjoy it. I already play my fighting games. I know what I like in a fighting game, and I knew that Soulcalibur 6 wasn't necessarily going to be that. It wasn't going to be my type of fighting game. But my first 2 hours of the beta was me playing a match or a set with each character. Now, the sets are best of 3 until it forces you to search for another game, so that's why it took me like 2 hours with every character. The character that stood out the most to me was the first character I played, Zasalamel, and his name is really annoying, so I'm gonna call him Zaz, because that's what I'm gonna call him. For the rest of this video, when I say Zaz, I'm talking about this dude with the hood. The way he moves around the stage, his weapon, everything about him is awesome. Right down to the amazing visual effects, although that's kind of just universal across this game. Sophitia was my next standout character. I didn't think much of her moveset, but her animations were good, and aesthetically, she's my favorite female on the roster. Nightmare stood out because of his long range and general aesthetic. Normally, I'm not really into like big, slow fighting game characters, but Nightmare almost won me over. It's something about Soulcalibur in general, the way the game makes you feel when you land a hit, that feedback loop feels so good, and it's part of the reason I'm enjoying the game so much. Siegfried is a character I am not okay with. Now, to be clear, we're talking about day 1. Everybody in the world is trash at this game right now, but oh my god, Siegfried is so easy to play compared to the rest of the roster. It actually is kind of weird. This is mostly because of his insane range accompanied by his high damage. I would definitely recommend this character to anybody who's new to the series. That's not to say that he won't be competitively viable or anything. I'm just saying it's a really nice character to pick up and play. He feels like he can just kind of get wins out of nowhere because of his insane range and his insane damage, although this is likely to change as the meta changes. I suppose I should finally talk about Geralt. I don't like him. I'm sure he is fun if that's your type of gameplay style, but you could put his moveset on any character and I don't think I would really care, which is a shame because I thought I was going to end up maining him. But as soon as I started playing him, I was like, yeah, he's not really for me. His super is really cool though. So the big question is this: will you enjoy playing Soulcalibur? And if you've played any other previous Soulcalibur title and you enjoyed it, I would probably say yes. If this would be your first entrance into the series, I would say play the beta. It's free to play right now. I think you have to go to PlayStation's website, and it's totally worth the effort. If you can find a character you like, the game feels drastically different. Find a gameplay style that works for you. For me, it ended up being Zaz, which is how I'm pronouncing that character's name forever. For you, it could be Nightmare. But in my experience so far, the game feels like night and day between when you're playing your main character who you love and any other character on the roster. And that's coming from a guy who has like 9 mains in Injustice. I would say between the character creation function, the unique 3D gameplay, and the even more unique setting, along with great visuals and the limited things we know about the story mode make it seem really interesting. All of this accompanied with the core, in-depth gameplay of the Soulcalibur franchise. I would say that Soulcalibur 6 is one of the better bang-for-your-buck fighting games of the year. I do have some issues with the game. Number 1 being Ivy and her overall design. Number 2 being Voldo and his overall design. Number 3 being this netcode. It's not fantastic. I've played matches with both people right here in Australia and people from across the world, and in all honesty, I didn't notice much of a difference. And that's not because the matches were smooth, it's because they were choppy regardless of where my opponent was from. In most cases, it ended up favoring me, so it didn't stress me out too much when I was playing the game, but I would imagine being on the other side of this, the receiving end, it would be very frustrating. If you're a fighting game player who's able to spend multiple hundreds of hours playing a fighting game online, Soulcalibur 6 is definitely worth it. If you're a little bit more on the casual side and maybe play a few hours of online once a month, I'd say it's still worth it. Again, you've got the story mode, the fantastic visuals and setting, along with the create a character function, which I'm sure I'm going to spend hours upon hours messing around with. I want to mention I really like the day and night cycle thing they have going on. For people who don't know, basically the way it works is on some stages, in between rounds, it will go from being daytime to nighttime, or nighttime to daytime, or nighttime to morning time. And I think that's really cool. It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense because you might knock someone's armor off and then the next round their armor will be knocked off, but it will be like 12 hours later. And it's like, yo, bro, why didn't you just go change your clothes? Why didn't you just go get some more armor? But like, whatever, man. I'm happy that there's a day and night cycle. I don't even think you necessarily need a day and night cycle. I just want there to be more day-night versions of stages. I don't know why more fighting games don't do that. It'd be really cool to play Daytime Pit from Mortal Kombat. It'd be really cool to be able to play Nighttime Islands from Dragon Ball FighterZ. So I hope more fighting games are willing to do that in the future. Another Another thing I like is they apparently separate the ranks based on the character you're using. So if you want to pick up a new character, you don't have to feel worried about diminishing your player rank because your rank is bound to your character, which I love because it incentivizes trying new characters. More fighting games should do that as well. Let me know what you thought of the Soulcalibur 6 beta. The beta wraps up on the 30th, so get in as many hours as you can. Try to find that one character that works for you. That'd be my biggest recommendation. If you enjoyed this video at all, please leave a like, and if you're new around here, remember to subscribe for future content. My name has been Bilbzy, and I'll see you in the next video.